WLFE-DB Digital Network are engaging in the safe space. What is safe space? A safe space is a supporting and affirming environment for individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. Each podcast displaying the Safe Space logo will have resources available on hand for those in need without judgment. Here at WLFE-DB Digital Network, we care. We listen, we support, we understand.
Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Inside the Drag Closet with Jade. Join Jade DeVere and her fabulous team of guests as they discuss all things drag, from wigs to makeup to performances and everything in between.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and more.
Well, hello there, kids. Welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the interactive vodcast where we talk about all things drag and some things that aren't. Who knows? We're really just here to have a good time. 'Twas the night before Thanksgiving, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even my co-hosts who are not here. So this is my husband, Derek.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, kids. How's it going? Thank you all for tuning in to Inside the Drag Closet. Now, the universe sometimes throws us a curveball we were not expecting. Amethyst ended up at the dentist today, so she is not here. She might be checking in a little bit later. Anastasia was feeling under the weather, and we haven't heard from Scarlett. So it's going to be the two of us tonight. It's going to be fun. We're sitting in our dining room. It's going to be a party, and we just wanted to be cozy, so we're both wearing some nice jammies, you know, like you do. I'm dressed as a panda. The panda. And tell them about you.
Oh, a little who, what, where?
Sure, why not? There's an order to this show, but it's right out the window right now.
For anyone who doesn't know, I am Jade DeVere's husband. My name is Derek Gamble. I am a Central Pennsylvania YouTuber and show promoter for drag shows in the area, most notably Divas Down Under, which you can find in New Cumberland on the first Friday of every month. Tonight, I am wearing Stitch footy pajamas because why not? We were having a discussion earlier. It came with teeth. I think they're a little aggressive. I'm not in love with the teeth. I don't think Stitch was that aggressive, so we're gonna hide those. See how much cuter it is? So much better now.
Yeah, this is the important stuff we're going to talk about tonight. All right, let's get rid of that. So before we dive into things tonight, we did get a question earlier today, and I want to, I'm going to wait until after the commercial break to answer that question, just because Amethyst is going to try to join us remotely a little bit later. She had to pick up some medication, but let's see who's watching tonight. Let me scroll up to the top. Robin and Vicky are here. Hello, kids. How are you? Orion Angel says gobble, gobble. That'll be tomorrow for me, not for you. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Casey, hello, hello, hello. I'm ready for an amazing show with my favorite gals. I'm here.
Me too.
You are. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do tonight, and for a hot minute, we were thinking I'm going to put him in face, but I am a little low on bronzer right now, so I couldn't contour the way I wanted to. So don't worry, we'll do that at some point. I've got plans. I've got plans for that.
Takes a lot of contour to cover this beard.
It does. It does. Cassie says, "Hey, queens." I could bring them up on screen. That's even easier. Last year, this episode, I laughed until I cried. Here's hoping for more shenanigans. Oh, there's going to be shenanigans. Orion, not a creature worth stirring. So here is my spouse. Hello.
That was amazing.
I know. I love that. Vicky Fisher says, hello, hello. Hi, Vicky. I'm super excited to work with you this Friday. I had to look at my calendar, which is right over there. Friday at the Warehouse Bar in, why do I keep on forgetting the name of Salisbury? But yeah, I'll be in Salisbury, Maryland on Friday. That's going to be fun. Marcy and Carrie. Hello, Jade and Derek. Hi there, kids. Estee Lauderdale. That costume is so funny. I'm in stitches.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
The dad jokes are mighty. So mighty. Amethyst will be joining us shortly. Orion didn't realize you were Stitch. He thought you were Eeyore for a second.
It is a little Eeyore. Like the ears are too small and too thin, and then the
Stitch's Eeyore on caffeine.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Relatable.
relatable.
That's
yeah.
valid.
They're a little floppy. You should see the Olaf one. The carrot is huge.
Oh, that thing's ridiculous. And this one has performed in the Olaf
It's
footies before.
tragic.
Alrighty. So kids, since it is just the two of us this evening, ask us questions. You've got us until 10 o'clock. So you ask a question, we will answer it. It'll be fun. What is one thing you've always wanted to ask me? Not that you haven't had a chance to ask me everything in the world.
Goodness. No pressure. Okay, this is an interesting one that I've never asked you.
I'm horrified already.
Have you ever regretted starting doing drag in general?
Yeah. Like every time I do it. Every time I go to put it on. I'm like, why? Yeah, I have. I mean, I talk myself out of it, but there are times where it can be a lot. You know, it's, as you all know, shows can be stressful, shows can be exhausting. I was like, that was
I was
not
trying to
the
do
choice
something
you
and it
wanted to
didn't
do.
work.
Yeah, like we, being spouses and doing shows all the time, like we get to see each other ridiculously stressed. The worst is when we're at Divas, because I'm stressed trying to get ready, he's stressed trying to get ready, and then we try to like, hi, how you doing? Are you okay? I'm not okay, but I'm checking on you because I love you. It's just wild. So yeah, there are times where it's tough, but would I ever give it up? There'd have to be a damn good reason to give it up,
I think that's a fair answer.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a cute question from Orion Angel. What is your favorite hot beverage?
Ooh. You go first.
Okay. I love a nice warm cider. I love a cider or a good hot chocolate. But it's going to be hot chocolate made with milk and not with water.
Okay.
The good hot chocolate.
I don't really tend to do hot drinks a lot. I would say if the season is right, like this time of year, yeah, a good hot chocolate or like a hot toddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something very seasonal. But in the summer, I'm a soda, iced tea, water kind of a guy.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much spring through late fall.
The other night, me, Anastasia, and Scarlett got to be on The Obstructive View, which was a lot of fun. And listener from Reddit got to ask us questions, and they wanted to know our favorite food and our favorite drink. My favorite drink is water. I love water. But I pointed out, I like diet water. I don't want that chunky stuff. I don't want to put on too much weight.
Well, you're a panda. Pandas are supposed to be plump.
That's true. That's very,
yeah.
Mind your business. Casey would like to know, Derek, what is your favorite number to see Jade perform that will never get old?
Oh, there's so many. It's interesting because you have such an extensive repertoire or Rolodex of performances. I don't really get burnt out on any, so they're all great. And I get the added benefit of watching the planning and then getting to see it come to fruition. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I would probably say one of my favorites to see you do is Chikatita, because it's just not what people expect. And it's funny for me as someone who has seen it multiple times to know what's coming and then to watch the audience's reactions as they're trying to figure out exactly what they're watching.
Full disclosure, my version of Chikatita is a dance mix. It's like 5.5 minutes long, and I do everything in my power to not dance. It's just 5.5 minutes of me going, what trouble can I get into? What captures my attention in this moment? What stupid things can I do for a laugh? And it's so much fun. It's so liberating.
I remember the first time you pitched that idea to me, I was like, I don't know. That's a little risky, but it worked so well. And I was like, okay, I was wrong again.
Walked right into the men's room at that show too.
Yes.
It was, the show was called A Night of Opulence. And I was like, calm down. No. The incredible Aida Stratton put that show together, and she wanted everyone to be glamorous and fantastic. And I was like, girl, I'm going to make them laugh. Like, a night of that. Like, I love opulence. I love drag. I love all that over the top stuff. But come on, I'm going to make people laugh.
I can't believe you remember the name of that show. That had to be
seared into my brain.
3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Yep. Estee Lauderdale. Which celebrity, alive or dead, would you want to work part-time at a retail store with? Margaret Cho.
Yeah.
Margaret Cho.
Yeah, I feel like
I want to see her do retail and just tell people how it is.
Yeah. I think that would be amazing. Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Lately I've been there's something happening with him as a person and as an entertainer and a comedian that I'm gravitating more towards, because I'm not expecting something that isn't there, and I'm starting to understand who he is as a performer, and I'm liking it more.
Yeah, and he's with Kim Kardashian now.
Well, I think that's a publicity stunt.
Well.
Although he was hanging with them a long time ago, so maybe he was getting his in.
Literally. So, Cassie has a fun question here. I'm married too, so I can relate to this. What is the one thing that annoys you most about your spouse? I'll go first. She forgets everything. LOL, love you, babe.
Relatable.
I was trying to get ready. It was a very stressful night. It was supposed to be me and all my co-hosts tonight. And this one was having the best time on TikTok and laughing and sharing stuff with me. And I love you. You were annoying the living fuck out of me.
I do tend to go into overcompensation mode in most awkward or bad leaning situations. And I know it makes it worse, but it's a trait.
But you can't stop.
Yeah, I can't stop it. A thing about you that annoys me. I mean, I'm only here for one show. No, I'm just kidding. When you dance while you drive, it drives me crazy. All the time. I'm like, do you want me to drive? If you want to perform or practice, we could fire drill this and switch seats.
Nope. There's two things I'm good at while I'm driving, and it's dancing and falling asleep. So. Let's see. Orion's question here. What is that little thing you see your spouse do that still gives you butterflies and makes you think that's why I love you? Just existing. Like, that's such a cop-out answer, but it's literally like this week when you came home from surgery, like, I just wanted to stay there and help, but I knew there was nothing I could do, and I had to go to work. I had a show, and so I was just, I felt like I would take care of you. But you lay on the couch. You have your time.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the couch. A little thing that you do. I don't know if it's something that you do so much as, like, there's sometimes where I'll be in the living room and you'll be asleep on the futon, because we have a pull-out futon in our living room. It converts into a couch, but it's like...
We don't even know what pull-out means.
Wow. Anyway...
I need a nap.
Kill the mood, Jake. No, I'm just kidding.
You're welcome.
But I know this is going to sound so cheesy, but sometimes, like, if you fall asleep on the couch, I'll just look over at you and you'll be like cuddled up on the couch, and I'll be like, and it just makes me smile. I don't know. It's the silliest thing. Or like in the mornings when I go to get clothes out of the bedroom after I get a shower, and you're like all huddled up on the bed. I don't know. I look at you and it makes me smile.
Yeah.
Gross.
We're disgusting. Vicky Fisher actually has some cool advice for everybody here. This is something we were going to talk about later, but Vicky, I'm super glad you brought this up. Advice for queens looking to get bookings out of state and traveling gigs. How do you build a relationship with a bar that isn't local to you? I always try and support bars that I want to entertain at. However, when they are 3+ hours away, I read that wrong. It's harder to do that on a normal basis. We're going to do your tip now. I feel like this is the perfect time to do your tip.
I feel like it transitions into it, but let me say one thing first about something. So I think I saw it on Facebook this week. A queen that I don't even remember who posted it had posted something feeling some kind of a way about people that say, if you want to perform at my venue or if you want to get noticed at a venue, you should go and support shows there. And the comment made by this performer, I believe it was a queen, was, it's not fair to expect me to go to a show that I may not be able to afford because, for example, brunches are very expensive. As far as drag shows go, Divas is a little bit on the pricier side, so I understand that. And I totally get where that performer is coming from. My counterpoint to that argument would be there's ways to get into a show without paying. And what I mean is, if you were to come to me and say, hey, I would really like to perform at your show, could I maybe help like usher people at the beginning of the show? Or like there's little ways that you can volunteer to help out, or you could say like, do you need any help in the backstage? Or like if you know someone who's on the cast, maybe you could offer to be a dresser. And I don't mean to make it sound like you either have to pay or work, but those are great entry points. So that's something to consider, but I do understand the feeling of I shouldn't have to pay, but not all drag shows are expensive. Many have very small cover. I mean, Stallions, for example, I think an average cover there is $5, so
which is great.
Yeah, it's not bad. There are ways. You just have to sometimes get creative, and it's really just about building a familiarity and a reputation with the people performing and the people who run the shows, because even a DM on my Facebook page goes a long way, and I'm pretty willing to help people out. So, you know, that's just kind of my thoughts on that.
Well, it's funny. Vicky and I have been chatting about getting her to Divas, and my advice was like send videos, and she sent this amazing demo reel.
I just got a chance to watch it this week. It's pretty incredible.
So yeah, that's another great thing. You know, if you have a gig, just, you know, have a friend of yours film your number. It doesn't have to be the best video in the world, but that shows us what you can do. Shows us. I'm not a show director. One of the biggest misconceptions that Derek and I have to deal with a lot is when we have people at Divas, they always thank me. I didn't book you. I appreciate it. I'm grateful, but he doesn't talk to me.
I mean, occasionally you will make recommendations or be like, oh, I just met this amazing performer, blah, 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 blah. But one thing that's tough about that show in particular is because it only happens once a month. I book that show at any time 5 to 6 months in advance because I don't like to book my performers last minute. So in that time that I've already booked someone, the kind of bad side of that is I may meet some amazing people, and then I have to tell them, well, the earliest booking I have for you is 6 or 7 months out. So it's kind of the push and pull of being a show promoter.
But it ends up being worth it because that show is big. That show is fun. It's something for everyone. I think, weren't you booking June right now?
I think I'm just about to start booking June.
Okay. But yeah, you know, and occasionally people drop out. And that happens. You know, we have an amazing core cast for that show. We always have different guests. Speaking of which, on December 3rd, Divas Down Under will be at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone with our Winter Wonderland drag show, starring Jade DeVere, Amethyst Diamond, Poison, Onyx Black, Katarina Couture, Diamond Taylor, and Pola Frost. Shameless. But yeah, you know, It's a lot of networking, but it does end up paying off. And Vicky, I'm super glad you asked/recommended that, because, you know, networking is awesome. Going out to support shows is such a good thing to do. But like Derek said, and the Facebook post, I forget who posted it.
I forget who it was.
But she hit the nail on the head. Not every gig is super, you know, cheap. So sometimes going to support means paying a lot of money. So,
and make yourself available. If I have somebody back out of Divas at the last minute, you may have caught my eye in the last week or so, and I might remember that. And I might say, hey, we had a last minute spot open up. So, you know, make yourself available and make yourself known, however you go about doing that.
Yep. Vicky says, amazing advice. You are too kind. It was an okay reel, LOL. Got to love forgetting to save new videos. Oh my God. Well, we were joking about this earlier because when we started dating, he would just come to shows and film, which was amazing. Like, we have thousands of videos of different performers on the Drag Styles YouTube page. That's Drag Styles, DRAGSTYLZ. He doesn't pay me for that. But ting. But yeah, we, just because our lives has started moving in different directions, which has been great. He hasn't been able to come to as many shows, so I don't have as many videos anymore. That and COVID, you know, kicking everything in the teeth was, you know, not a lot of fun. But, you know, we're gonna be, I'm reinventing some of my performance styles. So just wait until I get to the warehouse bar. I've got some stupid stuff planned. It's numbers I've done before, but in ways I've never done them before. So I'm so ready for that. Where were we? Cassie wants to know, at what moment when dating did you think to yourself, this is my person? We'll let you know when it happens.
If people heard us talking and didn't know us, they'd think we hate each other.
Oh, we are
dreadful to each other.
Horrible to each other. Because
we know what each other can take.
Yeah.
Really. And it keeps things fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I honestly, I don't know. I think it was, we were hanging out with friends of ours, Jesse and Kevin, the incredible Belladonna, who was on in October. And we had been dating for a couple months, and literally a few blocks from where we live now, he walked me out to my car, and that was the first time we said we loved each other. And yeah. I think that was the moment.
Yeah, because when I proposed, I went back and took a picture of the parking spot.
Yep.
Where we were. That's a good one.
So your answer, you're welcome.
I think it was so gradual for me. I didn't really have a moment of this is my person, but I do remember I had a moment of this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. And I know some people would say, well, that's kind of the same thing. No, it really wasn't for me, because I had been in several smaller relationships before I got with you, but you were really my first major relationship, gay, straight, or otherwise, because in college I did date women as I was finding myself. But but I think the moment that I realized I was ready to move to the next level was a night my mom and I went for a drive when I was living at home. That used to be our thing. We used to go on night drives together just to talk and like get away from the house, and we'd crank the music when we weren't talking and wind the windows down.
Which I feel bad, because you tried to do that with me, and I'm like, no.
He hates it.
Good.
Yeah.
No, thanks. Not for me.
That's okay. When I go to visit my mom, we still do it sometimes.
Nice.
Not nearly enough. But yeah, there was just a moment during the drive, and we weren't very far into it. I almost remember where we were on the road when I just looked at her and I was like, I think I'm going to ask him to marry me.
Gross.
And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And it was almost like the first time you come out to somebody, it's like that jarring light switch moment where you're like, there's no going back. I've told someone. And yeah, I didn't wait very long.
No, we were engaged longer than we were dating beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have a very long engagement.
Yeah. Which was great. I remember we went on vacation to celebrate 1 year until our wedding.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We went down to, that was our adventure vacation where we just got in the car and drove. and we ended up in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to drive down the coast. I always wanted to do it.
Yeah, we were like, what's the most time-consuming way to get from point A to point B? Okay, let's get in the car and go.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. We should do that again soon.
Mm-hmm. Jason Johnson wants to know, what is your drag must-have every time you do drag? Someone to paint you.
Yeah, there's that. Well, I mean, my drag must-have would probably be what I use for when I'm hosting shows.
Yeah.
And I would say a fan. You wouldn't believe it right now because I'm in this fuzzy thing, which is probably not going to last past the commercial break. But when I'm hosting a show, I have to have a small fan or I get like so overheated. And that's my must-have.
What you kids don't realize right now is that one of our radiators is right behind us. So during the commercial break, we will both be switching to t-shirts. Make peace with it now. My drag must-have. I'm really liking my body proportions right now, but I do need a corset for it. Dad bod has started to take shape, and I don't feel right not in a corset. I mean, I'm not wearing one tonight because look at me, I'm a panda. But
me too.
Yeah, like I love corseting too. Like it's that thing that I'm like, oh, there she is. Okay, here we go. I don't know how I can do the show without it, but I don't wear it for the show. So
there usually is some kind of transformation, like a mental transformation that takes place with you the second the corset goes on, because that's when you really start feeling it. And that's when you start getting happy about it.
Yep. Orion Angel, would giving private performance lessons be something you would ever be interested in doing? Ooh. That's a great question. It's something I used to do when we did Amateur Drag Race in Harrisburg. I was a coach for that for 4 of the seasons they did it. And that's kind of what it was. We built people up and helped them become better performers. It's very time consuming though. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't have the time right now. Like working 2 jobs and doing drag is just, in January, my life will probably slow down a bit, but right now it's hard to even wrap my head around getting to January.
I think probably for something like that to work, at least with where we are right now in our lives, it would probably make more sense for you to be more broad brush with it. Oh my God. And more generalized with the topics and do kind of like how some celebrities do master classes. Not to like put it out there and be like, Jade's a master and she knows. But no, like there are things that I think you could do in very small lessons, maybe on your YouTube channel or maybe with other things you've got going on in the future, where you could be like, lesson 1, how to make faces at yourself. Lesson 2, yes. how to paint your face in under an hour with like the spoon and the stencils and like things that maybe people don't know about. So I think there's ways to do that. But as far as a one-on-one drag teacher, I think that sounds like a good idea, but I don't think you really want that, because I think the most important part of drag and finding yourself as a performer can't be taught by someone else. Like they can give you the tools, but you still need to build your, and I think you'll be better off doing it that way.
You have to feel it. Like you have to believe what you're doing. You know, it's most of the time it's lip syncing. So already there's nothing vocally coming out. So you just have to embrace like, one of the numbers I'm doing, Friday night at the warehouse is actually the first number I ever performed in drag. So I'm very excited to revisit that number, but it's an emotional number, and the version of it I have, it gets a little dark, but it has an uplifting story arc to it. And I'm not telling any of you what it is because I know Casey is here, and Casey's going to be like, oh, what are you doing? Okay, I'm going to tell everybody what I'm doing. I'm doing Somebody to Love by Queen. Yeah, and it's a long song too. But it's all about telling that story. Like, that's a great thing. Tell the story of the song, do justice to the song. And and every song tells a different story. Like, that's why these people write these songs. They want to tell a story, so you get to be part of that narrative. I got deep. I dove into that one.
It was a good answer, though. It really is. Like, you can teach people tips and tricks, but finding your performer on the inside is something that you have to do on your own, because if not, you're just going to be a carbon copy of someone else's drag.
And like, while in this day and age, people want drag performers that look like that celebrity performer they all love, there's an element of going, no, this is the version of drag I do. You know, we have a couple more questions, then we do have to take a quick commercial break. So we're going to do these kind of quickly. Orion wants to know, what is our dream vacation destination?
Well, I feel like I know what yours is, but I don't think it's the same for me.
Say it.
I think yours is Disneyland or Disney World or any of the Disneys really in general.
But we've done that. Like, oh, I want to go back though.
Well, yeah, just because it's your dream doesn't mean you can't have done it already.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. My dream destination changes all the time. Like, there's so many places I want to go. People always talk about leaving the country, and I want to do that someday too. But there's so many beautiful things that people don't think about that are right here at home. Like, everybody either rushes to beaches or whatever. I think right now I would love to go to I think it's called like Diamond Crater National Forest or something along those lines. It's a national park where you can go and dig for diamonds.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I want to go to the UK still.
Oh, okay.
I think that'd be great. There's a few more. Orion, do you keep your drag life separate from your regular life? How do you find the balance? One thing, we are sitting in front of our radiator. So that commercial's coming up soon, kids. So one thing we are very adamant about, and we slide with it now, but when you proposed to me, you made absolutely sure he proposed to Mitch, not in drag. Because Jade, as fun as she is fiction. She doesn't actually exist. And it's difficult. A lot of people blur the line. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm very proud of Jade, but I love putting her away. It's great.
Well, it's like even at the beginning of the show, I said, I am Jade's husband. And I did that for the sake of the podcast. And this, even after 7 years of marriage, is something that's kind of a struggle for me. And in places where we're in public and people will be like, where's Jade at? And my initial gut response is to use your legal name. But I'm like, but that's not it.
It's weird.
So I got into a habit for a long time of saying, you're my husband, Jade's my best friend. So like that was a way to do it. But I also met you pretty early in being out.
Yeah.
So it was not hard for me to be with you. And drag was very different back then. Even 7 years ago, drag was a completely different world. But for me, it was hard to see that line be blurred because I was dealing with some of my own internal homophobia and thoughts that I wasn't dealing with well. So it was weird for me to think of someone thinking I was with Jade or that I was with you because you do drag, because we got that a lot.
Oh, people always want to know, like, the sex questions, like, what's it like having sex with Jade? I don't know. Jade doesn't have genitalia, so
nope, not the one to answer that question.
Yeah, this is not a sex thing. Like, this isn't even a comfortable thing. Like,
and that even continued up until we were married, because I remember people asking you when we got married if Jade would wear a wedding dress to the wedding.
Yeah,
and it was such an odd question. But I think that's just the time. Like, there was
there's still so many misconceptions about drag, and we know some amazing trans performers.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of them are some of our closest friends, but that's not my story. That's not my life. So yeah, people instantly think, oh, because you dress in drag, you want to be a woman. No, I just want to be pretty every once in a while.
And I still hear that from time to time now, but not nearly as much, because even 7 to 10 years ago, we started dating about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Drag was very like underground, and drag performers on the whole were not treated very well. And
that hasn't changed.
The idea of a drag queen finding a partner, let alone someone to marry or have a relationship with, was very like, can you do that? Whereas now everyone, you know, watches Drag Race or whatever, and it's just, oh, you're a drag queen. Oh, you know, so the vibe is very different.
Yep. Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break. I do see there is another question here, but we will get to that as soon as we get back. And when we get back, I think we're going to tell the story of how marriage equality screwed up our wedding plans. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes, kids. Bye. Come on.
WLFE Digital Broadcast Network is on TV. You can watch all of our shows on WLFE-DB.com. Check out our channels. Paranormal View for all of your paranormal type shows. LGBTQ Friends for all of our LGBTQ shows. Variety Unlimited for all other shows. It runs 24/7 right on WLFE-DB.com. You'll even catch the lives, all in one place. Never miss an episode, past or future. WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows. Here at WLFE-DB, you can find shows that vary in many topics: the paranormal, the creepy, heavy metal, and LGBTQ and drag. Our shows are your shows, and we want to provide a wide diversity for all to enjoy. So, tune in to facebook.com/WLFEDB Radio. Like, follow, and share with your friends and family. Also, go check out our website at www.WLFE-DB.com. 2021 just got better. Your favorite shows from WLFE-DB Radio can now be found on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Yes, we now video stream to both of those platforms. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Safe, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE-DB radio shows.
More from WLFEDB Radio Network after this.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Oh yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab, and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch.
Hello, loves. Hello.
Hey, girl. How are you?
Just fine. Mumsy had a little procedure done, but she's all right. She's all right. She's healing lovely. She's healing just nice. You know.
I love this babushka that you've got on your head right now.
Baby, I am like a chipmunk over here right now. So, mama's going to put a little scarf on and we're going to do what we got to do. Okay.
Well, this is a perfect chance. We got a question earlier today. I got it on Facebook from our wonderful good friend, Vicki Thompson. She would like us to know, or she would like to know, before anyone asks this question on the show, I've had this question on my mind all day long for y'all. What is one thing y'all are thankful for being a host on Inside the Drag Closet?
Okay. That's a great question because honestly, there's many answers for that. Being on the show, I guess my 1 year anniversary was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Oh my God. Waiting for the gifts. I'll hold for the gifts. That's fine. So being on the show has really opened up my network to the amount of people I have met, the amount of people that I've worked with, and vice versa, everybody getting to meet me as well. So being able to be given a platform to reach out to the many subcultures of our communities, and to be able to spread love and light into the world. Y'all know Diamond Dish, that's how we do it. So it's been wonderful, actually, just growing the network and growing the social web that we have together. So,
True.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about this show, we've been friends for years, but we never really, we weren't close until this show.
Right. That part too. You and I have gotten really close, and even Scarlett and Anastasia, all of us, we've all gotten to know each other on more of a personal level, behind the scenes and behind the makeup and behind, the cameras. We've got to see who we are as human beings. So I love that part. Having sushi with the both of you in Rehoboth was the highlight of my summer. Honest to God, it really was. And I can't wait till next year because next year is probably going to be twice as crazy. So,
oh yeah, I have to say, like, tagging along with you and literally hanging onto your coattails to go up to Rehoboth has been such a joy, and I'm excited that we're going to be working together on Friday in Salisbury. If you're feeling better by then.
The show will go on, sweetheart. The show will go on.
That babushka will go on.
The rent and the utilities, they go on. So I must also go on. I got mama got her pills. Don't worry. She's going to be all right.
You have to go on so they don't go off.
How about it? That part right there.
So, Amethyst.
Yeah.
What is one thing you've always wanted to ask Derek?
Oh,
Derek, how have you put up with this bitch for so long?
Valid. I want to know too.
No, I'm totally joking. Why do you love working with all these crazy bitches? Why did you put the show together for Divas Down Under? Why do you have the people that you have in your show? Several questions there. Take your time.
She said one.
Well, sorry, I'm medicated. I can't.
No, girl, that was me Friday. I was Chippendale in it myself. So,
God,
whole mouth.
Oh,
yeah,
terrible. Look at I have a jowl. Oof.
Same.
My swelling went down, and I still have a jowl. So lucky you.
Okay, I feel better.
When I first came out, I was the kind of guy that was like, I'm never going to hang out with drag queens. I'm not that kind of guy. Like, very like internalized homophobia, going back to that. And then when I got to know performers and got to understand a bit more about that world, it was fascinating to me because I have never wanted to be a drag performer, but I love being able to help, but I also love to have my name on things. So like my drag is a poster that even though it doesn't have my name on it, they know that's my baby. So like, like Divas is my baby, and Jade has been a huge help, and the cast there is incredible. But there is that slight bit of like, narcissism that goes with being able to say, like, that's my show and I do it damn well. So, like, I think that's what I love. But I also just love being surrounded by creative people. You know, I hear, when I was in high school, I spent half my day at regular school, and then I spent the second half of my day at art school. And then I've always been drawn to and gravitated towards creatives. And coming out as a person in the queer community, you realize how many creative people are a part of this community. And then drag just takes that to another level. And there's the glitz and the glamour, but also kind of that backstage pass of getting to meet real people who pursue this in their lives. So there's so many things. But after the first time you put me in drag, I was like, nope, this is not for me. Like, I have the utmost respect for people who do it and do it well. I understand the amount of work that goes into it, and that's why I don't want to do it.
Fair enough.
It's a lot. And actually, in the couple times that you've put me into drag, it flip-flops who I am as a person. Like, I think I'm quite extroverted as a person, just as Derek, but when I've been in drag 3-4 times in the past, I get really self-conscious, and like, I'm just kind of like, I know I'm in drag, but I'm not. I always feel like I'm stepping on people's toes, and like, it's a very weird situation. But yeah, I love all of you. I love the people that I've gotten to meet. I love the experiences and the memories I've been able to make. Did I ever see myself getting with a drag performer? No, but I think that's because I didn't know any better.
That's fair.
Right. And that's a big fear with people, you know, for drag queens in general, when they are dating and they're in the dating scene and they're out in clubs and bars, you know, they're not taken seriously as quote unquote men because we're dressed, you know, very feminine, and the persona is very feminine. The character is very feminine. You know, and presenting that to a new person whom you're interested in can make or break the situation. Some people are not into that, you know, and that's fine and well. But like, you know, knowing Jade and knowing myself and Scarlett, we are not the same person when we are out of drag. We're not. Yeah. You know, it's a character. It's not who we are. It's just a piece of who we are. Mm-hmm. You know,
I mean, you mentioned will you put us all together? We're gonna be the same person.
Yes, that persona will come out. You can call on them, and you can summon the demon when you need to. But that's and so narcissism, accurate. Derek, you mentioned narcissism earlier. I'm unfamiliar with that word. What is narcissism?
It's not that long of a show, girl. I do think there is a little bit of narcissism that you almost are required to have any form of success in drag, because it's the feeling that not only am I good enough to do this, but I'm good enough to do this as a completely different person and still be sickening. So it's almost like a twofold narcissism. Not a bad thing. No, but it's like I think it supersedes and goes further than just confidence, because I think confidence only takes you so far.
I was just going to say, it's like hyper confidence.
Yeah.
It does. You have to be very secure in your character and the product that you're putting forth for other people to also take you seriously as well.
And to want to pay you money to do it.
And to want to pay you what you're worth, you know, to put on that show. You have to take yourself seriously. It's fun and games. Yes, we're at bars, we're having a good time, we're dancing, we're drinking, we're doing this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, this pays my bills. You know what I mean? I'm responsible for my own future and my own success. So the product you put forth is, you know, if people take you seriously, that could really mess your money up. You know what I mean?
So, and if you don't believe it, they won't.
Exactly. So
if you have to believe it. Either believe it or fake it till you make it. Like, I want to know that you think you're. Now, I don't want you to be an asshole about it. Right. But I want you to think that you're sickening and you're going to bring me, because as I do with my drag tips of the week, like, if I don't know you, what value are you bringing me? Because this is a business. Like, drag is fun, and I love to see the death drops and the dips and the splits and the kick as much as, but if you're not helping me fill seats, I may love you to death as a person and I may love your character, but that doesn't mean you're going to be helpful to my show. And
Right.
sometimes that can come across a little cutthroat, but I mean, that's the world we live in now.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. You know,
Well,
and for the people that don't accept that, they need to actually think about that, and they'll come around eventually.
Yeah.
You know,
That ties into what Orion asked us earlier about keeping our drag life separate from our regular life. They do intertwine quite a bit. Like a lot of our closest friends are part of our drag life,
yes.
but you know, it's tough sometimes. You know, it is a business, and it's very rough business. And there's still lots of venues that are just like, drag performers, no thank you. We don't want cross dressers in our building. You
Right.
do though. You do.
You do. You're missing
Or
out on
the-
the money market there.
or the you're getting exposure owners. I can't.
I hate that. People die of exposure. Just throwing that out there.
Right. And consumption.
And consumption. Yeah.
And consumption.
Hi, I'd like to buy dinner. I'm going to pay with exposure. No. Oh, I need to fill my gas tank to get to a gig. I'm going to pay it with exposure. No.
Right.
Unless the gig is right. You know, we talked a little bit about, you know, networking and tip spots earlier. And, you know, there's doing a tip spot is great as long as you're not breaking yourself, you know.
Right. Right.
And it all goes full circle. Usually we save this to the end of the show, but here's Derek's helpful drag tip. Never underestimate the value of a tip spot. Networking can often be even more valuable than a single booking fee.
That's true. You have to show producers and bar owners that you are willing to offer your time and your services for the greater good. Do you know how many bookings I have gotten because I was willing to walk in and not get paid and just make money based off my entertainment value? You know what I mean? Like, and now that I'm in a position to where I can reach out to my sisters and be like, girl, I have a gig for you here. I have a gig for you here. I have a gig for you there. That makes me feel good. You know, I'm grateful that I'm able to do that for my sisters and help them grow and watch them turn into these monsters of drag. Like, it excites me and it makes me feel good about myself. And hopefully it makes everyone else feel good about themselves too. So,
like,
you know.
Full disclosure, I had a unfortunate situation. I had a gig cancel on me in December, but I picked up another gig, and I'm the cast was already full, but they offered me a tip spot. I'm like, you know what? Sure. For this gig and for the people running this show, I will take a tip spot for it. And
I love working with you.
I love working with you.
I do. I do.
Long story short, you're going to see us performing together again soon. And not just this Friday at the Warehouse Bar. Where's the Warehouse Bar? It is located
Salisbury, Maryland.
At 1147 South Salisbury Boulevard, number 1, Salisbury, Maryland, 21801. Showtime is at 9 o'clock.
That's me, and that's you.
That's us. And the Fishers, Phoenix and
we're in
Vicky
between
Fisher.
two fishes.
Ooh, again.
Salisbury and fish. Oh.
Salisbury steak fish.
Oh my God. Okay, so we do have questions coming in.
Damn it. I'm having a good time over here.
Right. Chanel wants to know, does your drag take over the house? Yep.
Girl. I haven't seen my dining room table in months.
I legit cleaned the dining room table thinking everyone was going to be at my house today, and at least our dining room table is clean. So,
and now you have a table.
I do.
Honestly, I think I've gotten pretty good at that. Now that I have one room that's dedicated completely to drag, which is the room that I'm in now, it has definitely pulled things from the rest of the house, and actually now they're just in piles in one room instead of all over the house. So, you know,
valid.
Well, and that was something that was a big issue for us when we moved in together, because the apartment we live in now is the first place we've ever lived in together, and for me, the first place I ever lived that wasn't with a parent. So the first thing we said was, we need 2 bedrooms because Jade needs her own room. But
absolutely.
I'm natured, and I don't know if anyone watching is natured like this, and it's a huge character flaw of mine, and it's a little bit of a character flaw of yours too. If we can drop something in a room that's on the same floor as the entrance,
it's gonna happen.
As opposed to taking it upstairs and putting it where it belongs, we're both guilty of that.
Sure.
It's
Literally,
like when you get home from school, you just drop your backpack, you kick off your shoes, you run to the TV and play games. So
my costume for my show Saturday is sitting right there because that's where I left it after my show on Friday last week. Yep.
And she looks good there too. She's just standing on her own. Right?
All the corseting. Orion wants to know, what is your favorite thing about your drag personality that you wish you could be in real life?
Orion, that's an extremely good question.
Yeah.
That is an extremely good question. I think when I first started doing drag, I was always very shy in high school, like getting up in front of people to talk or making, public presentations or being on a microphone or, all of that. Being in front of people in public as a guy was something I never, ever, ever liked. Like I hated it. And I think through drag, now it's nothing because I realized I have that confidence no matter what I'm wearing on the outside, that it's still me. You know what I mean? Whether I'm Amethyst or whether I'm Dustin, that confidence is still mine. It's one and the same. So I think I learned to appreciate my drag character because Amethyst helped Dustin be more confident and just helped me realize that we are one and the same. All those qualities that I am in drag are Dustin's. They're mine. They come from me. They just happen to be more prominent when I have a little mac on my face. You know what I'm saying? So, but right now I'm wearing Louis Vuitton scarves and I'm swollen as a chipmunk. Do I give a shit? No. Why? Because I love you guys and this is the show and this is what we do and the show will go on no matter what. So, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed to make fun of myself. So. Right. Exactly. I have good lighting. We're good. We're good.
It makes sense.
So yeah, that's how I would answer that.
I've always been a performer and I love performing, but it's interesting because I am a more introverted person, but I love being on stage. It's being an introvert in an extroverted career is kind of fun. And I'm glad I've gotten to, I've been doing a lot more customer service work lately and my new job, I'm puppeteering a 30-foot tall puppet right now. And I have to interact with people I can barely hear. And I just grab the bull by the horns and go with it. It's a lot of fun. And it's that performance side that's helped the non-performance side just have fun with life.
Right.
What about you?
Well, again, I don't do drag, but I would say from an MC or a show promoter standpoint, I think there's something that I enjoy the most about feeling like I'm totally in control, or at least not totally in control, but like it's something that's this is my goal, this is my role, this is how I do it, I'm good at that. So it's it's like a structured power that I can fall into for a couple hours where I'm like, this is going to happen this way, and then it's done, and then I go back to real world. So like MC Derek or show promoter Derek I'm still me, but like I get into a different headspace, and there's something
and he says, "Huh, yeah," a lot.
Listen, the crowd loves it. I think it's dumb, but I love that they do it, and it makes me laugh every time. I don't even know the origin of it. It's been around for so long, but they love it, and it gets them pumped up. So I'm cool with it.
All right.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun when Jade and I are ushering people to their seats for Divas Down Under. And, of course, I may have had a cocktail or several prior to that. And I know I get a little flighty and I run around and, where's the Amethyst? She's out there being hospitable.
She's doing customer service. Tell her to get her ass back here.
That's fun. Yeah, I love it. I love when you yell at me. I really do.
Chanel has a very interesting question here, and I like this one. Do you feel you conquered all your fears as a performer? There's always new ones to discover.
Yeah, there's plenty more stages I haven't fallen off of yet, so.
So
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Conquered my fears as an entertainer. There's always new ones. It really depends on the situation, the scenario. New things happen all the time. You break a shoe beforehand. You rip this. A zipper doesn't work. You learn to plan for those fears. You bring extra shoes, you bring extra costumes, you bring extra hair. Your luggage weighs 10,000 pounds. Like, it's a mess. So I think as you grow as an entertainer, you learn how to plan for those mistakes and those fears as much as you can. But other than that, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You too?
My fears when it comes to performing are typically more things that are kind of out of my control. Like, what do we do if the speakers blow? What do we do if the laptop dies? What do we do if the power goes out? What do we do if the air conditioning breaks? What if nobody comes? What if half the cast calls out the day of? It's things like that that I don't really have control over, but new things are happening all the time. 2 months ago at Divas, it was 5 minutes before showtime, and because of the way that we have to flip the room, because there's typically a comedy show that happens before us, and they use a completely different audio system than I do. We bring our own. But because we bring our own, we can preset it to an extent, but once we're flipping the room in like the half-hour gap between shows that we have, then I have to run in quick and make sure everything's hooked up right. And I realized maybe 5 minutes before seating that I didn't have a microphone that worked. I have a wireless mic and a wired mic. My wired mic was missing, and my wireless mic, the microphone was just gone. So we live close enough to the venue that if I have 20 minutes, round trip, I can run home and get anything, which is nice. But that was a little scary. Luckily, the venue let us use their sound system, and it didn't cause too many issues, some towards the end, but we worked through it because we're what? Professionals. That's what. Exactly.
And I mean, honestly, you surround yourself with loudmouth bitches anyway. So, if the mics go down, that won't be a problem.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason I pay you to lip sync. It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Casey has a fun comment here. I absolutely love the answer to this question. We were talking about networking and whatnot. As someone who has been a part of a drag family, but not a performer, I resonate with that so much, which brings me to my question. What are you most thankful for that drag has brought into your life?
First off, hi, Casey. Love you. Huge supporter. Huge supporter, has been to so many of my shows lately, and I'm so grateful. So what am I most thankful for drag brought me in my life? Probably my friends and family and the people that mean the most to me right now. The people sitting over there. That way. You.
I wish she had turned the wrong way.
Where are you? Where? You're somewhere here. All of you. All of you. I love all of you.
Kicking in, kids.
Ooh, it's lovely. It's a moxicillin. It ain't that serious. I have to say, this whole year has been wonderful. I'm having the time of my life. I'm surrounding myself with people that are just beautiful human beings, that are phenomenal entertainers, that are funny and charismatic and serious. And we actually have dinners together. And I could not be more grateful for what drag has brought me this entire year. I've met a plethora of people that I know will be in my life for the rest of my existence. So outside of drag, I'm grateful for the family that I have acquired. And Casey, that's you, and Jay and Amber, and Marcy and Carrie, and Jade and Derek, Diamond Doll, and Christina Doll, and Tamia, and Myra Hobeth Ohana. I'm grateful for all of you. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's my honest answer. It's the truth. You guys make it worthwhile.
I completely agree with that. Like, our drag family has been amazing. I wouldn't have met Derek. He met Jade first, ironically. He met me in drag and could not have been less impressed with her. Didn't care.
That's not true. That's not true.
But yeah, it was great meeting him because, he is the love of my life. And, best thing that came along.
Sorry.
I'm like, why are we laughing at that? He's the love of my life. Ah!
Amethyst is my sister. You know, Inside the Drag Closet has been such a blessing to us, you know, and it has opened doors for us. You know, we have this wonderful rapport with Open Stage right now. We are working on some new things. Little bit of a teaser. I just launched our Patreon today. We are waiting for the final approvals, but we have some projects in the work for Patreon, one of which I'm going to announce now. Fun project that I'm going to start doing is Get Ready with Jade. So before Inside the Drag Closet starts, you'll be able to log in and watch me get ready, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully my co-hosts and our guests will be able to pop in as well. It won't be required of any of them, but, you know, just a fun way for us to raise some more money so we can make the show even bigger and better than it is now. So
I'm excited for that.
Me too.
We're ready. We've been ready for a long time, and we just need that little bink. We just need that push, and that's up to all of you. You know, all of you watching out there. You know, it's important that you share the live video. It's important that you share our posts on Facebook and things like that. We rely on you for our success. You know, the five of us, excuse me, can only do so much.
Yep.
You know,
and we're doing the best we can, and we're just going to keep on trucking and keep on moving, kids.
We're going to keep doing it.
No stopping us.
We're not going to stop. Obviously, nothing will stop us.
True. Orion has another question here. Do you ever feel like the drag world can be kind of like job applications in that they want you to have a certain level of experience, but if people don't let you perform, you can't get that experience? I think that's valid. I think that's very valid. I always tell newer performers, look for benefit shows. Look for those opportunities to help the community. With COVID, it's been weird. It is still weird. It's been very hard. Like, Orion, you have started it in the worst time to start drag. But we're hopefully seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought we would see it a year ago, and we didn't. But shows are back up and running. I know Central PA Pride is getting back on its feet now. Benefit shows are going to start. So volunteer to help out. But the important thing is, while you're volunteering to help out your community, don't destroy yourself in the process. I've seen a lot of drag performers do it, where they spend all of their money on drag and can't afford to eat, can't afford to, pay their rent, can't afford gas money. Take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, your performance doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Simple as that.
You really have to learn how to budget your money when it comes to drag. Like, the better you get, the more money you will make. And you have to learn what goes to costumes and what goes to the electric bill. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be smart about it. You have to be very smart about it. Like, I got my start back in Harrisburg anyway, in 2001 with Dame Glenda, and Friends with Pride. I did benefit show after benefit show after benefit show. One, it showed that I was willing to do something for the community. Two, it was like practice for me to get better. And three, fast forward 20 years later, diva, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. I'm happy. It's a process. It takes a while. If you get too good too fast, you will not learn the lessons you need to learn. Like, if you have people doing everything for you, you will not be the same entertainer that someone who has actually crawled through the mud and dug their way through it. You have to learn it. It's much like life. You have to experience it. You have to go through it. You can't be handed all the tools.
You have strong opinions about that too.
I was gonna say, can I offer a little pushback? And this isn't directed at anyone in general, but I have seen people come to me with the comment before of, you want experience to perform, but I can't get experience if I don't perform. And I would say there is some truth to that, but I will also say right now where we are, one of the best things that COVID did for us, if anything good came out of it, was people being allowed to do drag online and digital shows. And I think that is a great way to get experience. Have live shows. There's a queen who I am a huge fan of, who kind of came up in that environment as a way for her to gain exposure. And that queen's name is Ashland Manhattan.
Yes.
Ashland Manhattan. If you're not following Ashland Manhattan, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because I believe Ashland uses feminine pronouns. I hope I'm getting that
in
right.
drag. I believe she does.
Okay. If I'm wrong, please someone correct me, because I adore Ashland. But Ashland used to do one-person shows on live streams on Facebook, and that was a great way for people to start understanding who Ashland was as a performer, because Ashland was someone that started out underage. One thing that I also feel, like I said earlier, that the drag community has changed a lot in the past 7 to 10 years. I feel like, and please correct me, either of you, if I'm wrong, but I feel like when I came into the scene, there was a lot more of a fire in people to start their own gigs.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, you won't book me, you say I'm not ready yet, good, I found this club, I'm starting my own show. And that's something that I feel is missing too. Like, I would not that I necessarily want more competition, I mean, who does? But I think I would be kind of happy for a new gig renaissance, with newer performers that are just trying to get their feet wet. Maybe like an open mic night or an open stage night for drag.
That'd be cute.
I'm sure there's got to be many a coffee shop, a drag bar, a mom and pops that has there's venues like that, smaller scale places. If you say, hey, me and 5 or 6 people every week or every other week or however you wanted to do it, want to come in and entertain for free just to get experience, they would lap that up. Lap it up, and don't let it go far enough that you start becoming a commodity that they use. But there are so many. It's kind of like, it's never been a worse time to start being in drag, and it's also never been a better time to start being in drag, because the resources are immeasurable.
Yeah.
So I think it just takes a little bit of, you have to take a step back and then tap into those creative juices. And especially from what I've heard from you and talked to you, Orion, specifically, I think you're incredible, and I think you definitely have it in you to do some amazing things, and I can't wait to see what you'll do. But yeah, just really get creative with it and start pounding the pavement and doing what you got to do, because I know you'll go far.
Yeah, and be confident in what you're bringing to the table as well. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. Love what you do and put that forward.
I always say, do the drag that makes you happy. Don't do the drag that you think is going to win you pageants or is going to be what the audience wants. If you love it, the audience will love it.
Exactly.
But they'll feel it if you're playing the game.
If you're wishy-washy, that reads real easy. Real easy. Like when I do drag, I just do what I love to do. I'm just having a good time. In all fairness and honesty, I'm just doing what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for this person. It's not for that person. Like
I'm doing numbers. They might fall flat, but you know what? I'm going to have fun.
Right. Right.
And as an audience member, would you rather watch somebody who's super polished and not feeling it, or someone who has a little bit more to go in the polishing realm but is really feeling it? I would take not as polished but really feeling it, because I'm there to be entertained.
Right.
This kind of reminds me of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race, The Untucked, when Chanel and Santino Rice got into it. And Santino was like, I would rather see the most interesting looking paper bag than the most expensive outfit in the world. That is boring. And they were on 2 different pages with it. And this is the only time I will ever be Team Santino. I was Team Santino in that moment. I was like, I would rather see the most interesting looking paper bag than a gown that's rhinestoned within an inch of its life, but is boring.
Yeah.
You know?
What, her Applebee's server pants weren't doing it for you?
Listen,
Ooh.
I just rewatched that and I was like, she was like, they're $500 pants. I'm like, they're black pants.
I love that he's like, Ed, you overpaid.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, we got a new viewer this evening. Carlotta Clark is watching this evening. Hey girl. Carlotta would like to know, who is the biggest person in your life in the drag world?
You mean as far as like inspiration or?
I'm assuming that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
Biggest person in my life as far as drag. I mean, the person that I look up to the most is Sabrina White, Miss Gay America 2002, and she just gave up Miss Gay United States. I think, what is today? Wednesday. I think Sunday was her give up. She's been in the business for 30 years. I was enamored with her the second I met her. She came out as Wonder Woman doing Woman's Got the Strength, and I have been a fan for the past 20 years of my life. So I look up to her because she has had an interesting story. She has had an interesting walk of life. Things haven't always been handed to her, but she's working, 12, 13, 14-hour shifts at her regular job, and then she's doing drag for the rest of the time. She inspires me greatly because she's not perfect, but she knows that and she owns that, and she's a 2-time national title holder. You know what I mean? So yeah, Sabrina White's, she does it for me.
Nice. How about you?
Well, I think everyone would expect me to be mushy gushy and say you. And while I think you're incredible, if I had to say someone, I'm assuming it has to be somebody we know more so than like a celebrity reference or anything like that. I would have to say the performer that I look up to the most and that I admire the most would probably be Poison.
Yeah.
To have that kind of, and there's no way to say this without sounding like a goofball, but like to be that good at what you do for as long as she's been doing it and to still be killing it and to be so humble and so helpful and just a wonderful person. Like Poison makes me want to be better.
Yeah.
Like
I like people like that. Like you meet someone and you're just kind of like, you make me want to be a better person.
We try our best to surround ourselves with people like that.
Yeah. Because we're garbage. Like
hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Stop it. No, you're not. You're not. You're not garbage.
Poison would be my answer.
That's a great answer. I like her.
Your answer. That's your mother.
She is my mother, and I am a true reflection of my mother to those regards.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I am going to point out a celebrity just because I've only worked with her twice, but she has been so open and so just welcoming, and that's Mrs. Kasha Davis. She is so done. Like I called her one day. I texted her and I was like, "Hey Kasha, do you have a minute? I just want to pick your brain." She was like, "Absolutely. Call me at this time. I'm going to be doing the dishes." And her and I chatted for like an hour and just no pretense, no she's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. She has her own documentary out right now, Workhorse Queen, check it out. But she was just so down to earth, and I just wanted to pick her brain professionally. And she was so sweet and so just genuine. I'm like, I hope if I reach celebrity status, that's who I remain, like just down to earth and grounded. From our area, I'm gonna Poison as well. Poison is just amazing, and she's so, when she performs, she's a dancer, but so many times at Divas she has to sacrifice the dancing to appreciate the audience, and she makes sure everybody holding up a dollar gets appreciated. Everybody gets a kiss on the cheek or something. Frequently, I like to appreciate people by winking just because I'm not very touchy, but they get a moment of my number. So for all of you newer performers out there, if someone's holding up that dollar, you appreciate that dollar.
Somebody who used to be really good at that was Big Daddy.
Oh, Big Daddy was so good.
Big Daddy would make love to the audience with every performance. And it was like, you almost forgot that it was a performance. Like it took you to another plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, you felt like you were the only person in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
And it could have been a room of 200.
Yeah. Right. Daddy is amazing. I miss him. I haven't chatted with him for a while. Him and I were Mr. and Miss Central PA Pride together.
That's right.
Yep.
Cassie's got a question here. What is one memory that drag has given you that you will cherish forever?
One? Come on, Cassie. You know about 7,000 of mine. So 1. Oof. Oh God. Next.
Right. I love just making people laugh, like defusing a tense situation. During Amateur Drag Race, one of my favorite moments, we had our bottom 2 and they had to lip sync to see who was going to stay in the competition. And the person who stayed in the competition was so overwhelmed that she collapsed on the floor. So I was a judge that year. I went over, checked to see if she was okay. She was okay. So I stole her shoes and went back to the judges panel and sat there. And everyone's like, did Jade just take her shoes? It's like, sure did, because they fit.
Well, it's the same as being a parent. You make, when they're crying, you make sure they're fine, and then you move away.
Yeah. You bleeding? No.
You're fine.
Okay. Anything broken? No. All right. Yeah.
Memories. God, I don't know. There's so many. I mean, I've been doing this for 2 decades. How many memories? I don't know. I think just the interaction with the audience, just going out there and just making people smile, like, and just changing someone's whole world for that hour and a half long that you're doing a show. That's always my goal, and probably my fondest memory is just making people smile. Just the love that is interacted between entertainer and audience, that will always be my favorite, no matter what.
And performers everywhere, we are uniquely blessed to take people out of their day-to-day lives for a little while.
Absolutely. Because we're doing it for ourselves too.
Yeah.
We're taking ourselves out of our everyday too.
We used to do a show called The Show for Hope, which we were raising money for different anti-bullying organizations. And one night I was like, I want to perform Lady Gaga's Dope. For those who don't know that number, it's all about her realizing that dope, drugs were more important than her relationship, and realizing that's stupid. So I performed, I had a pair of black boots on, black panties, and a green button-down shirt, and just came out looking like I was smoking a joint, and just broke during that number. And people were just like in awe, because like it was a very gut-wrenching number. I've never been into the drug scene. That wasn't my journey, but I have friends who have, and I was like, I want to tell this story, because I have been on the other side of it, where I was not as important as the drugs in previous relationships. So now I have to compete with a car. So I'm doing the best I can.
Jawbreaker. Oh, I love it.
It's okay. Someday you'll take first place.
I know. I'm in silver medal.
Yeah.
Jade's my favorite participation trophy.
You're my favorite Miss Congeniality. That's awesome.
Right? One of my favorite, people always ask us about our wedding, and they were like, was it everything you thought it would be? And my response is always, I was happy to be invited. Because I never in my life pictured getting married. That was never like the thing. I was just like, I'll be a performer. But then getting married, I was like, oh, I can go, right? Yeah, I'm kind of important.
I'm here. I'm up front with you. Who's that guy?
Our reception was so silly because it was all citrusy themed. It was a boardwalk theme. And we were like, we are coming into this with a sense of humor. We didn't have a wedding party other than our siblings. And I remember the song we came into the reception was a big band version of Super Trooper by ABBA.
Oh my God, it was.
And so we just walk in and all you hear is, tonight the Super Trooper lights are gonna find me. And then it just picked up and I just danced my happy ass around the room as Derek's like, why?
Yay.
I let him prance about and I went and got my champagne. So it was good. It was
Yep.
good.
See, that would have been me too, Derek. I'd be like, well, if she's going to do that, I'll be at the bar.
Yeah, I was like, you have fun with that.
It was so much fun and ridiculous.
Jade, you talking about you performing dope. I'm going to go back to Cassie's question. One of my favorite memories, and she was there for that, at Club Z in Williamsport. I performed Kelly Clarkson's Because of You. And I just let myself go in that number. I wasn't performing for anybody else but myself at that point. And I remember at the very end, like the music stopped and there was just nothing. And I look up and I smile, and then people started clapping. Like, people were like, is she okay? Like, she really went there with that. Like, people were so concerned. I was like, I just let it go. Let it go. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
We are working on a benefit show. It's in the very preliminary stages of that show, but there is a number in that show where I know the only way to do it is to cry. So I'm getting ready to cry during that number. I spontaneously did a song at Pride this year. We did an all ages Pride show at Stallions, and I got thrown in for an extra number because a whole bunch of people canceled. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Heart of Stone from 6, completely not thinking any of it through. Then I'm like, I threw on a gown and I was like, oh, this whole song is about like dying in childbirth. This is uplifting. And there was this cute little kid, short hair, beautiful little dress on, just living their best life. And at one point, in Heart of Stone, she sings to the child, letting the child know that I have to go. I'm not going to see you grow up. I made the mistake of singing that to that kid, and I just broke, and I could see their mom crying, and I was like, this is the choice I made. But we went on that journey, and afterward, people were like, you did a ballad during a Pride event. That was beautiful. I'm like,
I love those moments, though. There are some times when you perform when the emotion does get to you and you realize how real what you're saying is. And I like seeing people be vulnerable like that on stage and actually showing that raw emotion. Like, I love seeing that. I love doing that. It happens to me on occasion, but I love seeing that.
That's one request we get a lot with this show, and maybe that's something we'll do on Patreon. People want to see us perform. And, due to copyright laws and whatnot, we don't perform on the show. But maybe through Patreon, we might do something like that. I still have to look into the logistics of it. But don't worry, kids. We're listening. We know what you want. Do you have a favorite moment from drag?
I mean, just like Amy said, there's so many. I mean, I owe so much of my current life to drag, and I don't think I'm being dramatic by saying that. I mean, I wouldn't have you. I wouldn't have really any of my friends. Before I came out and came into the drag world, I had very few friends. I had lots of acquaintances, but I grew up in a very isolated part of the state and a family where my cousins were my friends. But outside friends, really, like, I had people I went to school with and stuff, but very few of them I considered friends. And then once, I graduated from college and things like that, then I was kind of on my own with few exceptions. So, I mean, I think there's so many memories that are amazing. I mean, the gushy side of me wants to be like, that night at Liquid when I threw the birthday party for you and then I got to propose to you. Like, those are memories that will always live with me. Getting to call Amethyst in a Sheetz parking lot and saying, hey, do you want to be on the cast at Divas? And hearing Amy almost wreck her car as she's screaming out the window. Like, there's so much of my life, good and bad, that have come from drag. Like, it's hard to pinpoint it to just one. I mean, I would say moments that really get me the most from an outside perspective as like an audience member or something, moments that involve children. Yeah. At, like, Pride events. Like, there's nothing cuter than those moments. Like, I've seen it happen to you. One of my favorites was Katarina Couture. When you see, like, little kids tipping drag queens. There's just something so pure, and it's really those moments that make you go, yeah, like hatred and homophobia and things like that are not born into you. They're learned traits and habits. And if anything is a bigger confirmation of that, it's those moments, and they're so special. I love to this day that photo of you in your fairy princess outfit with your big wings and just this little girl. She had to be maybe a year and a half old.
She was a year and a half.
Barely walking with $1.
Mm-hmm.
The cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the same thing, it might have been the same kid that did it to Katarina.
Possibly.
But it's just moments that take drag to a more, I don't know, more wholesome, like
one of my favorite drag photos ever was during Reading Pride, and it was the late Gracie Freebush was doing a number, and this little kid just wanted to tip her, and in that moment, nope, the tip was not good enough. Gracie lifted this kid up. They were both performing. They were having a good time. And it wasn't like this little kid just wanted to look at the princess that was dancing. It didn't matter. You know, kids hate is a learned thing. And that's, you know, the devastating part about, you know, misconceptions like are the worst thing in the world. If you want to hate something, learn about it first. Don't just hate it because it's different.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
That's my new thing.
At Shrimpies,
yeah.
This past Sunday, there was a little girl in the audience, and she was sitting there with her mom and her older sister, and she was just coloring, and she would tip periodically. Cute little thing. And at the end of the show, she came up to me and she handed me her picture that she was drawing. And I was looking for it just now. I'm going to put it on my fridge. But it was just a little girl scribbling, drawing princesses and rainbows and just happiness. And she's like, here, I made this for you. I was done. I was so done. I was like, oh my God. I was like, go right now. So cute. So cute. So yeah, those moments are definitely number one.
Yeah.
Because that's hope. That's our future.
Yeah. Speaking of learning new things, I just got the announcement that our Patreon is live. So you can find Inside the Drag Closet on Patreon. There ain't anything up there yet, but we're going to get it all set up this week. I have a friend who has been working through Patreon a lot. And feel free to let us know what you would like to see us do. Shoot us an email at InsideTheDragCloset@gmail.com. And, you know, you request it. We're going to do what we can to make it happen. And I got to figure out how Patreon really works. So that's
we have to learn first. Hold on, kids. We'll be right with you.
Come on for the ride.
Right. It's an adventure.
Exactly. I love that.
Well, kids, we have reached the end of our time here together, but, you know, we've already had Derek's helpful drag tip, but I want to give everybody a chance to not only say goodnight to everybody, but tell us a little bit about what you're thankful for. And I'll let Derek go first.
Yay. Well, first of all, I'm thankful for being on the show tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Amethyst. I hope you're feeling better. I can totally relate to your mouth trauma. They didn't even give me pain pills, girl. So they were like, you could probably take an Advil. It's fine.
Yeah, great.
Awful.
Tic Tacs.
But yeah, I'm thankful that we're still here. I'm thankful that things are hopefully getting better.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I get to see my family tomorrow and I get to take you with me. And I'm thankful that my family loves you and they're accepting of us. I have so much to be thankful for. You know, it's easy to get bogged down with the things that are going wrong, but when you stop and think about the things that are going right, it's humbling. It's really humbling. So thank you for all of you that support my loving husband and all of our friends on this show, and all of our various projects that we do. I'm just thankful.
I like that.
In general, I'm just thankful.
How about you, Amethyst? What are you thankful for?
The same, Derek. I mean, that's a really good feeling when you're like, you can't really pinpoint what you're grateful for, but you just have this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And it's very humbling. And that's honestly where I'm at right now too. This year has been so much fun. So much fun. I am tired as hell, but I am having the time of my life. And I could not be more grateful for the people who are in my life, who support me and love me and see the goals that are ahead for me. I'm grateful for the both of you for being in my life, for giving me this opportunity to speak to the people and to perform at Divas Down Under. You know, I'm doing what I love and I'm doing it very successfully, and I could not be any more thankful from the bottom of my heart for every dollar, for every hi, for every hello, for every kiss, for every hug, for every opportunity. I could talk for another hour and a half about how grateful I am. But just know that I love you all, and I am so beyond grateful for all of you. So thank you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Happy
And you know,
Thanksgiving.
you need anything, we got your back.
Absolutely. And I know that. And that's what humbles me. I know that for a fact. So
she can tell because I tried calling her like 5 times today. Like, girl, you okay? You all right?
I slept all day long. When I got home from the dentist earlier, I was like, done. I'm out. Fuck this. I was done.
She sent me the before photos. I was like, like, yeah, you look so much better now. Like, I was.
Thank you.
I was gobsmacked when I saw that.
It's all right.
I would say I'm obviously thankful for you because you are. Well, I was thankful for you. Seriously, I am thankful for our love, our relationship, the fact that your family loves me. I so over the moon about that. We have to go and visit my family at some point.
Absolutely.
We always go and visit my grandmother on Christmas Eve, just because my family has always done Christmas Eve with presents, just because they would all go to church and come back and be like, let's just do it now.
And my family does Christmas Day, so it works out really well.
Really convenient. I am thankful for Inside the Drag Closet. You know, this is episode 79, kids. Like, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And we don't have any intention of stopping anytime soon. We're working on that Patreon. We are working on new things to reinvigorate the show for 2022. So keep your eyes open. Make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. Again, it's Inside the Drag Closet, all one word. If you have suggestions for us, InsideTheDragCloset@gmail.com. I'm thankful for next week. Next week, I am beyond excited. We are going to have our youngest guest ever. We are going to have Desmond is Amazing. I believe they are 14 years old. They are a drag performer, and they will be here with their mother. So they are taking the world by storm. They have walked in fashion shows already, and they get a lot of hate too. And that's just stupid. I don't understand the hate. So I don't want to dwell on that next week. I want to express a lot of love, but I do want to talk to them a little bit about what their journey has been like. I am thankful for my husband writing me a note because he wants to plug something.
You're such a...
So go ahead.
Well, I knew we were winding down the show, and one thing I did want to plug, you all know me, you all know where to find me. Divas Down Under, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. My other gig that's not so much about the kind of drag that this is, but there's drag racing involved, is my car and my YouTube channel, which is PA Street Scene. The reason I'm bringing that up is because while we're talking about being thankful, one thing that I am incredibly thankful for is that I had a really good childhood. It wasn't always the easiest, but when I look at some others, I had it pretty good, and not everyone is that fortunate. So I'm actually going to be starting a project next week through my channel, which is, again, PA Street Scene, where I'm going to be wrapping my car in 6,000 Christmas lights. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be traveling around the state and central Pennsylvania, raising money for children in foster care to have money for Christmas. So make sure to check out my Facebook, check out my YouTube channel. I'm PA Street Scene 1 on TikTok. I'll be talking about it there as well. On Instagram also. I'm going to be starting a Venmo account where you can donate to me during the month. And then all of that money will be donated in honor of our dear friend, Miss Kim, who runs the backstage of Divas Down Under. She works for an organization called the Families United Network, and they help children in foster care and other family-related issues and topics. So we're going to be donating all that money in her name to the Family United Network, or the Families United Network, probably about a week before Christmas. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out for that, and hopefully if you see me around in a car that's lit up with a ton of Christmas lights on it, that's me. Come say hi, and hopefully we can raise a lot of money for kids in need.
I love that. We'll post some of the information about that on the Inside the Drag Closet Facebook page.
Awesome.
So make sure you keep your eyes on that.
Yeah.
This has been such a wonderful evening. I am so grateful for the two of you for being here. Anastasia, get well soon. I feel like Scarlett told me the other day she wasn't going to be able to make it, and I just forgot. It's been a whirlwind of a season, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. So kids, take care of each other, love each other. That's all I really have to say, except for one last thing I do have to say.
Yes.
And that is, good night, kids!
Good night,
Good night, kids!
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.